Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney. Today we'll be hopefully finishing the third episode. Learn about Samurai. October 19, 3:27 PM. Wright and 𝐒𝐬𝐬 offices. That was a close one, huh, Mia? Really? Not too bad. I'm sorry I missed it. Huh? Maya! So what happened? Well, I think I've got a pretty good idea who did it. All I need is a motive and proof. Wow, good going, Nick. Under the initial trial system, tomorrow is the last day we have. Initial trial? What's that? That's the new core system they introduced 2 or 3 years ago. They had so many cases in the system, they decided to speed up the whole process up. So under that system, trials have to end in 3 days? Yeah, pretty much. Well, we've no time to waste. Okay. Let's move towards the studio. October 19. The old windbag sure is quiet today. You know, this place is really peaceful like this. Nick? I think our guard's down. Yeah? Maybe we could even eat those donuts in the guard station if we wanted. You eat, you die. Ooh, she's alive! Talk about Mr. Hammer? About Mr. Hammer. Ah, heard about what you said today, cheeky whippersnapper. Poor old Hammer, you drag his star down from the sky and stomp on it. Calling him a criminal, a thief. I won't forget this. Uh-oh, she's really pissed this time. You listen to me, whippersnapper. My poor old Hammer would never do such a thing. Why would he steal Powers' costume so he could sneak by me? He would never stoop so low. It's impossible. Okay, what about Manila? Can I ask you something about Salmonella? The director? Al? Oh, pushover. That's whatever it was, Kiss tells him to. He treats him like dirt, but I think he likes it. Huh? Why would anyone like being treated like dirt? That doesn't make any sense, does it, Nick? No, it doesn't, Maya. What about Vasquez? I was wondering about Dee Vasquez, the producer. Oh, the studio bigwigs love her. She always gets her way. Who's bitter? Do you not like the producer? Look, studio people don't want talking about her, so sorry. Okay. Let's move towards the studio 1. Is the detective gonna be back? Think back, Nick, to the day of the murder. Mr. Hammer put on the steel samurai costume. And he left from here to go to Studio 2? Right. But why? I wonder if someone called him, like the director or the producer. Possible. Let's try to go to outside Studio 2. October 19th, Studio 2 entrance. Hey Nick, it's Mrs. Vasquez. Hello? Hello? A-L-L-O. Yeah, you should at least try to be polite. I'm watching the clouds. That's all she had to say, apparently. Talk. Director Manila. I was wondering if you could tell me about Mr. Manila. If you must talk about that man, perhaps you could talk about it in the trailer. By yourselves? Oh dear. No Powers? Mr. Powers wasn't the killer. You don't have to cancel the Steel Samurai. I think I'm tired of the Steel Samurai. You did it! Nick, she did it! She's the killer! My Faye blood speaks to me. I know it! Oh dear. Mr. Hammer. Excuse me, Mr. Hammer came here on the day of the murder and... Shh! Huh? Perhaps you didn't hear me. I'm watching the clouds. I'm not interested in talking to you. Do something, Nick. She's really ticking me off. Oh dear. She's useless. Do I have anything I would present her? Not even looking. Okay, hey, you look. Why are you showing that to me, Nick? Okay, let's get out of here. Move the trailer. Wasn't the assistant cleaning up yesterday? Funny, it still seems pretty messy in here. Guess she was still on a high from getting that rare car she needed. Salmon. Dynamite Samurai? Old movie poster. Dynamite Samurai, starring Jack Hammer. Guess Mr. Hammer used to be quite a star. Samurai Summer, starring Jack Hammer. Poster's quite old. Wow, it's been years since I saw that show. It was one of those typical summer romance stories, but it was great. Typical summer romance with a samurai on a horse? Singing Samurai. Old movie poster. Singing Samurai starring Jack Hammer. What the hell do samurai sing about? Chopping of heads? Oh my god! That movie was the best. It's about samurai who sings his way to fame and fortune. Mr. Hammer was a very accomplished singer, you know? Singing samurai stars. What's next? Ninja Ballad? Looks like they were designing a set to use for the Steel Samurai show. Got some figures for how much the set costs. I can't believe they spent that much money on those sets. This is where they had the meeting. There are documents and paper caps scattered around. Nothing in here that could be a clue. Some paper caps and crumpled documents. Clouds is frosted. You can see outside. This far into October, the dimming daylight makes it feel like winter's coming. I guess there's nothing here. So let's move. No. No. Move. Outside. Move. Outside. Move. Engage. Move. Attention center? Maybe? Maybe? No. What's the studio one? Employee area. October 19. I guess they are not filming today either. I want to see them filming just one time. I will be over and done by tomorrow. You can see them film later. I guess. This is where you found that bottle of sleeping pills, right? Huh? I wonder if there's any other clues lying around. Oh! No, 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 not touching! Sorry, pal. I didn't mean to frighten you. You didn't mean? I almost had a heart attack. I guess I can be a little dramatic at times. I suppose it's the actor in me. Matik indeed. Anyway, I'm here to examine the plate on that table. Wait, are you looking for sleeping pills? Yeah, pal. Traces thereof. The plate. You're looking for traces of the sleeping pills. How? For a thorough examination, I gotta take the plate back to the precinct. I have the capabilities to make a cursory examination right here. The science guy gave me some testing solution. It reacts to this sleeping pill, see? If there's traces, it will change color. Wow, neat! Well, Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐬, what are you waiting for? Oh no, everything in due time, pal. Well, the testing solution on the plate changed color, alright? The food on this plate had been laced with sleeping pills. Looks like it. Take like added to code record. Okay, so now we have it confirmed. Investigation? What goes for investigation? Tell the truth, it's a real mess, pal. Some people think we should pursue the case we already have against Powers. Some people think we should switch suspects. What do you think, Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐬𝐚? Pal, I hate to admit it, I'm not sure I buy the case against Mr. Powers anymore. Still kind of bad for Mr. Edgeworth though. Edgeworth. What is Edgeworth doing anyway? Mr. Edgeworth is out of control. He went in the waiting room and he crushed his paper cup with hot coffee in it. Whoa. Talk about burns, pal. Wow, the fury of Edgeworth. Crushing paper cups. Bottles? Say, whatever happened with that empty bottle? Oh, the bottle of sleeping pills? Well, I got some good news for you about that. Found the victim. Check Hammer's print on the bottle. So that means... Yep, it sounds like the one who put Powers to sleep was none other than the victim. I was right. Okay. Sleeping pill bottle added. I present him anything. Not really. Interesting. Maybe there's salmonella? Empty dressing rooms like this are kind of lonely, aren't they? Sure, Mr. Powers will be back soon. He'll be fine. Yeah. Can't really do much here, can I? No, I don't need that. Maybe the... There's a bucket of snacks over the table. They must give these to the employees. It's completely empty. I feel my eyes burning to the back of my neck. There are some regular suits among the costumes here. Those must be his own clothes. Looks like someone was sleeping here. Well, we can be pretty sure Whippy that take a nap here like he said. I'm sure being drugged counts as taking a nap. Let's get out of here. Let's go employee area. Let's get out of here. Let's go in-gate. Talk to him. No. I'm gonna check Studio 1 as well. Studio 2 or whatever. Let's see if I can present the sleeping bottle. I'm not even looking, never mind. All this. Okay, fine, you're useless. Move. 1. No. Move. Gate. Talk to her. No. Present to her. This. Mrs. Oldback, what do you think of this? Think? Not in the mood for thinking, thank you very much. Let's go to the detention center. October 19, detention center visitor. Mr. Wright, you did well again today, thank you. Oh, thanks. Could you not look like you're about to burst into tears? Wow, Nick, you must have really wowed them in the air. Did you wipe that grin off your face? Hey, VP, 1 day left. Let's make it count. Yes, so there's not really anything I can do to help. Haha, I'm not really sure what I can do either. Please, this is no laughing matter. Talk to him? Mr. Hammer? I was wondering about Mr. Hammer. He was a big star back in the day, right? Then he just dropped off the face of the earth. Oh, yes, you're right. In fact, he was my role model when I started in this business. I just stopped taking on big roles. That's when he began appearing in little productions at Global. How could he do that? I was really looking forward to the sequel to Samurai Summer. I just gave up being a star 5 years ago. But now that I think about it, I was right when Mrs. Vasquez came to Global. 5 years ago. Director Manila. Can you tell me anything about Mr. Manila? Oh, he used to be a minor straight-to-video director. Something in his work caught Vasquez's eye. He brought the Steel Samurai idea to him. Everyone knows the name Salmonella. He hears pretty much at her beck and call though. Whenever she says jump, he asks how high. All that. Imagine him being at her beck and call though. I can imagine him jumping. Vasquez. Can you tell me more about Mrs. Vasquez? Oh, the producer? She's well respected in the industry. They say she's a genius. Genius? I've been at the Global Studios for 5 years now. Right or wrong, nobody dares to tell her different these days. Why is that? Ever since she came on the board, we've had nothing but hits. Global Studios was on its knees, but she picked it up and made it shine. Oh, and what? Nothing. Forget it. I've only heard rumors anyhow. Can I press him on that? There's nothing with this, maybe? Excuse me. Thank you for showing me that, whatever it is. Wish I could do. Never mind. You seen this, Mr. Powers? What's that? I've never seen this Steel Samurai in my life. I heard the Steel Samurai did appear at live shows. Fanboy collected all pictures of himself. Things like this makes me think. Means so much to these kids, you know? Okay, that's pointless. Regarding the murder weapon, yes? It's heavy and a spear. Oh yeah, I already asked that last time. Okay. Let's get out of here and move back to the studio. Move to the... We can go back to the offices, maybe? Any ideas? Have you noticed anything that might help us? Let's see what's going on when Mia is here. No, I haven't noticed anything. Right. Maybe we should go to Dr. WP? WP Powers, right. Yeah, he told us about that Vasquez. Maybe we should go back to her. Move. There. Move. 302. Talk. Percent. Never mind. Master of Global Coast. Use nothing there. Entrance to Studio 1. I don't have the card key anymore. Yeah. And to do now. Maybe we can talk about her with lady. Well, the old lady. Main gate. No. Check the right offices. Talk. Director's alibi. What happened with the director's testimony? Well, it's pretty clear that the producer and the director were both in the trailer. Which means that a killer has to be one of them. Really? Why? The real scene of the crime was Studio 2. Where the trailer is. What? Was Maya always this excitable? I don't get it, Maya. Mr. Hammer still the samurai's costume. What? Mr. Hammer was wearing the costume? Yeah. Mr. Hammer was the victim, Nick. We have to go through the trouble of stealing it. What do we have to find out? Oh. Looks like one of those electric powered bicycles. I don't know what about those. I mean, what's the point? It's a lot easier to go uphill, so already heard that. There's a sign on the dressing room. The powers, it must be neat to be star and have your own room like that. Okay, no. Oh, hello. What are you doing here? Oh, I was just cleaning up the dressing room. Guess WP won't be using it anymore, so... What? Why? WP's innocent. Yes, and I'm really grateful for all you've done. But this week is the last episode of Steel Samurai. What? No! Oh, Mr. Hammer. I was wondering if I could ask you about Mr. Hammer. Yes? The day of the murder, he went to Studio 2. Huh? I thought he went to Studio 1. Oh, the Steel Samurai costume too. What? Why would Mr. Hammer do something like that? Oh, guess the rumor must be true then. Rumor? Yeah, Mrs. Vasquez, the producer, had some kind of hold on Hammer. Some dirt on him. He would do anything she said, apparently. Dirt? What dirt? Dirt. No, bad stuff. I know what dirt means. About 5 years ago, they were filming a movie starring Mr. Hammer. They were using the new studio, Studio 2. Some sort of accident happened during filming. After that, they never used the Studio 2 again. They left the film set the way it was too. Film set? The failed part of the film set then? Last episode. What do you mean the last Steel Samurai? I know it's a shock, but nothing can be done to save it now. Whoever really did kill Mr. Hammer also signed the Steel Samurai's death warrant. Oh no. Also, I hear that Global Studios is going to change its programming. They're not going to make kids shows anymore. What? Why? I don't know. Sad, but that's what Global Studios decided. Studio policy. Why are they going to make kids show anymore? Studio bigwigs don't want the Steel Samurai around anymore. They want to forget all this ever happened. They want it quiet, you understand? How can they just do that? What about all the kids who love the Steel Samurai? It's okay, I'm sure the kids will be fine. I'll find a new hero to follow. No, that can't be true. The program just ends, they'll be heartbroken for sure. Say something. Yeah. Evidence rather than words is called for here. Here, take a look at this. What's this? This is why you can't stop the Steel Samurai. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Okay, never mind. Why can the samurai not... Okay, the scrapbook, definitely, like... This is... The fan collected all of these photographs. The kids love the Steel Samurai. The show shouldn't be cancelled just so some adults can save face. I think you would understand that better than anyone. You're right. Okay. But what can I do? For starters, you can tell me something. Tell me what it is that Global Studios is so intent on hiding. Tell me about this accident 5 years ago. Okay. 5 years ago. Can you tell us what happened 5 years ago? Well, I can tell you what I've heard. Apparently 5 years ago someone died. It was Hammer's fault. Someone died? It was an accident, of course. Anyway, the producer, Mrs. Vasquez, managed to hush it up. That's the dirt she had on Mr. Hammer? That's why Mr. Hammer would do anything Mrs. Vasquez asked him to do. But it was an accident, right? Why didn't you just make it public? Well, you know Mr. Hammer was a big star back then. Afraid about what would happen if his career would go out. See? No one knows more about this? It's all bad. She was here in the studios back then, you know? I'll try asking her if she'll talk. Move back to the employee area. Let's move back to the main gate. Are you still slinking about around? You like the place so much. Why don't you take over for me? The old windbag doesn't look so good. Everybody's doing their darndest to forget Hammer. Who do they think made Global Studios what it is today? Hammer. It's all due to Hammer. Starting to froth at the mouth, Nick. Maybe we should keep safe distance. Let's talk about 5 years ago. I wanted to ask you about 5 years ago. You told. Who did you hear that from? Nichols. Nichols? Penny Nichols, that assistant we talked to. Alright. Anyway, we heard about the accident. was during filming with Jackhammer. He killed a man, didn't he? Whippersnappers! Scratching up dirt on someone's spots like that. And they're recently departed, no less. Suppose you think this is fun? No. I'm just doing my job to protect Mr. Powers. You claim that Mr. Hammer stole Powers' costume. Expect me to believe that rubbish? Or do you have some kind of proof? That Hammer stole costume? I have proof. Mr. Hallback, but I do have proof. I prove that Mr. Hammer stole the costume. The steak plate, right? Mr. Powers ate a T-bone steak for lunch, correct? Well, yes, so? This is the plate that he used to eat that steak. There are traces of sleeping powder in the plate. I bet Powers put it in there himself. Even a lightweight like him must have trouble sleeping sometimes. Except I have proof that Mr. Hammer put the pills in. Here. This bottle contains sleeping pills. Mr. Hammer's fingerprints were found on the bottle. I see. Poor Hammer. You did wrong, Hammer. Rest your soul. This is all back? Okay, you win. I'll talk. Tired, see? Tired of holding it all in. This is all back. You're right. 5 years ago there was an accident. Fatal accident. What's worse, a paparazzi took a photo of it. The photo, well, it caused quite a stir. And guess who made it all better? Vasquez. She has ties to the mafia. She sounds that paparazzi. That was the beginning. After that, she became a force to be reckoned with here at the studio. I see. But you have to understand, poor old Hammer never meant any harm to anyone. Mrs. Oldback? Hold on a minute. Mrs. Oldback. Here, take this. Huh? Photograph? Wait a second. This is the picture. Is this the trailer in Studio 2? I was supposed to fight with a bad guy on the top of those stairs. There. He pushed the other actor and the man fell on the flower box fans. But how did you get this? It was a long time ago. I don't feel much like talking about it. Understand. 5-year-old photo added to the code record. Okay, now we can move back to the Studio 2 perhaps? And talk to her? Or send that photograph to her? Not even looking. Where? What? Where did you get that? Well, hold back. Hold. You missed the security leg of Mrs. Oldback, Nick. Right. Anyway, Mrs. Vasquez, you heard this incident from the press, didn't you? You used it to control Mr. Hammer. The wind. The huh? It's stronger, don't you think? The wind. Your conversation interests me. Let's talk about it more. Inside the trailer. Nick, you went inside the trailer. Okay, fine. You gonna kill me in there? You came. Well then, what was that you were talking about? Why is she so eager to talk all of a sudden? Mrs. Vasquez, you were using that accident. You were blackmailing Mr. Hammer so you could control him, weren't you? That's why he was doing kids shows for petty change. I'm a blackmailer now? But that's what it was, wasn't it? I mean, sure, it was an accident, but he used it to drag Mr. Hammer down from his rightful place as a star. Oh, I haven't pulled anyone down from anywhere. Mr. Hammer's career went sour of its own accord. But you were the cause. You pressured him. To think it was just an accident. Excuse me. What is it all about? You keep saying accident. How are you so sure? What do you mean? Does this spell everything out for you? What would it be if it wasn't an accident? No. No way. You mean Mr. Hammer did it? On purpose? That is what I mean. Where's your proof? Can you prove it? Just think. Would he have let me run his life for 5 years over a mere accident? I ran him hard, believe you me. The security lady said it was an accident. Oh, well, she was a big fan of hammers, you see. jump on the reporter who brought that photo into the studio. He wrenched it out with his hands, she did. Gave him a few bruises too. That's why she had the photo. She's an old fool. Of course all the reporter would need is the negatives. He could have made a copy, but he didn't. The only copy of that photo is the one he holds. Give it to me. Now. What? This is valuable evidence. Boys. Oh, Mafia. Who are they? Professionals. They're good at erasing various things. What do you think? Would you like to be erased? What? The trial ends tomorrow? Unfortunate. It's a shame you'll have to miss it. Tell me why. Why do you want this photograph so badly? This is Mr. Hammer's dirt, no? Why should 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐜𝐬 care about it all? I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to think about that where you're going. So long, friends. Boys, race away. No! Hold it right there. I heard everything, pal. 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿, you're coming down to the precinct with me now. Not bad. Very well. It appears this contest will be decided tomorrow then, in court. We're looking forward to it. Hey, you okay, pal? Sorry I was a little late with my entrance. Don't get many chances to practice that sort of thing. Detective 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐜𝐬! Thank you, thank you! I was really scared. Don't mention it, pal. Just doing my job. Detective 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿! It's just, I wanted to say that line however, since I became a detective. Okay, I've got one more job to do today. Sure we'll run into each other again soon. Well, Nick, looks like we're getting close to the bottom of this. Who's at the bottom? 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿. Nice. That was quick. Quicker than other days. Now let's end it. The trial. Save. October 20, 10 AM, District Court, courtroom number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Today will be the final day of this trial. I hope both the prosecution and the defense will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well, Mr. 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿. Opening statement. Yesterday's session, the defense presented us with a new theory for this case. It claims that the scene of the crime was in fact Studio 2. Today I will call on people present in Studio 2 trailer that day. In their testimonies, the truth will become clear. Very well. 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿 seems a bit on edge today. You may call your first witness, Mr. 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿. Prosecution calls Mrs. 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿 to the stand. Mrs. 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿 is the producer who was present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. Will the witness state her name and occupation? 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿, I'm a producer for the Global Studios. On the day of the murder, you were in the trailer on Studio 2. Everyone here knows, yes? It's like needless banter. You must pontificate. Do it when I'm not here. Very well, Mrs. 𝐒𝐻𝐸𝐿. Please give the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder. I know she didn't. Make her pay. Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down, so to speak. The day of the murder. Enter the trailer. Oh, a little before noon. Okay. The meeting began at 12 sharp. It ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Saul take me. 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Phone and I had T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Phone hammers his body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all. I have a question about one part of your testimony. You're fatigued, so you had Salt take you? Van. There's the van at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk. What that monkey's head toppling over. Okay. I see. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination. This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it. Okay, let's go. Enter the trailer a little before noon. Press. By yourself? Yes. You didn't stop in at the employee area? Are you always this terse? Yes. Oh dear. Meeting began at 12 sharp and it ended at 4. Did no one leave during the meeting? No one. Come on, let's talk a bit more about that. The witness did not come here to engage in idle conversations. Stop interrupting the testimony. Secretly said to you, Mr. Edgeworth, please stop banging on your little desk. It hurts my ears. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. And when exactly was that? Forgot him. Maybe you could try remembering? No. The meeting ended at 4, and the rehearsal was scheduled for 5. I think it was between those times. You would think? Come on, all you did was state the obvious, Edgeworth. Fatigued, so I had Salt take me. Hold on. You had Salt take you? What does that mean? It means that I just said. Salt take me in the Studio 2 van. Oh, alright. 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. What were you doing during that time? Don't hit your desk, it irritates me. Yeah, Mr. Wright. Oops. It was a 15-minute break. Sol and I ate these bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Do you have someone who can verify this? Sal. No, I mean someone else? One person is enough. If she committed murder during that break, we wouldn't have that time to eat a steaming steak. If I had some evidence that proved she didn't eat that steak. Well, Nick, find anything? I don't wish she said a little more. It's hard. I think she's pretty used to being the boss. I'm sure I'll find someone kind of contradicting what she said somewhere. The fact that there were no bones on the plate, that's one thing. Yeah, I guess the bone makes sense. Let's present the other plate. Let's say there was no bone. Let's try that. Ah, as I thought. You claim you ate a T-bone steak. But I say you did not. What's this now, Mr. Wright? Look at this. It's a plate? This plate was on the table in the employee area. As you can see, a large bone has been left behind. Mr. Wright, need I remind you this was a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will, Mrs. Vasquez and Mr. Manila ate at the table outside the trailer. Yet there were no bones left on the plates. Blades were bare. Mrs. Vasquez? Tell me, how can a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? I think I know how. You ate the bone too. You ate a boneless steak. You didn't eat the steak. During that break, you took your steak and threw it somewhere, like that incinerator. I see. And what was Mrs. Vasquez doing during that break? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? Meeting the Steel Samurai. She was meeting with the Steel Samurai. Order! Are you staying? Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Vasquez left the trailer to eat her steak. She ran into the Steel Samurai. Then you did it. You killed him with your own hands. Mr. Wright, isn't that a little presumptuous? What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Wright? Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it? Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be as boring as all the rest. Very well, let us have a battle of wits, you and I. Hey, Dave Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Let's see. What is that murder weapon again? Oh yes, the samurai spear. Yes? I am, as you can see, a woman of petite stature. Could I possibly use that heavy spear as a weapon? I think you could. It's not impossible. Well, maybe it's not impossible, but... balance. I'm speaking. The victim was stabbed through the chest from the front, yes? I believe this would indicate that the victim was aware of the killer's presence. Now, the Steel Samurai costume is quite light and mobile. Compared to the victim, I'm weaker and slower. I couldn't possibly win such a fight. Not to mention, there is a proof I didn't have the spear. A photograph of the Steel Samurai shows that the victim himself was holding it. Do you mean to suggest that I could have wrested it away from him? Please don't tell me he killed himself. If he did, that would be weird, but we'll see. Yeah, take that, right? You still think she did it? Show us proof. Nick, look at the data we have on that samurai spear in the code record. Is there something there that gets to you? Something odd about the samurai spear? Yeah, it was broken. Wait, something the matter, Mr. Wright? Sorry, Honor. I'd like to take back my previous claim. Very well, I won't hold you to your claim, but I'm afraid I will have to penalize you. What's this? We're talking about your claim. Backtrack for a moment. I want to consider whether the witness could have used the samurai spear on it or not. However, that has no bearing on this case. Meaning, the samurai spear was not the murder weapon. What? What is the meaning of this? The spear was found lying next to the victim's body. I prove, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as the murder weapon. It's broken, right? I present my proof. The so-called murder weapon. But that is the murder weapon. Not so fast. Remember that this spear broke during the morning action scene ran through? Someone fixed the spear. It was the security lady. She fixed it with duct tape. Now tell me, how is it possible for someone to stab a man who's wearing a fake costume with this through the chest? Order, order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what are you... Silence. I'm the one testifying here and I will be heard. Are you quite sane? Are you even aware of what you are saying? If the samurai spear was not a murder weapon, then pray tell what was. How was Hammer killed? Well, Mr. Wright, can you tell us what the weapon was used to kill Mr. Hammer? I can tell you. Probably he died again using the stupid, what is it called? Fence. Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the weapon was? I'm afraid your confidence can sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well, let's see this murder weapon then. Accident photo. Maybe I can show this now. Look at this photo. What is this? Wait, it's Jack's hammer standing on top of the stairs. Order, order! If I cannot have order with this trial, will be suspended. Mr. Wright, what is this all about? This photograph is from 5 years ago. It was an unfortunate accident at the Global Studios. This is a photo of that very accident. Not a word of this was leaked to the outside. It was a close-kept secret at the studios. What does this have to do with the current case? Mr. Edgeworth, you still can't see it? See the fallen man in this photo? See how the fence post pierced him through the chest? What? Are you saying? Yes. What happened 5 years ago? It's happened again. Mr. Wright, continue. 2:30 p.m. on the day of the murder. This is the facts, guys. It's Jack Hammer outside the studio to a trailer. And she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer had himself done 5 years ago. Though whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, died in the same way that caused another man to die. 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Oh ho, very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my script writing staff. You deny that what I say is true? Mr. Wright, let's say for the sake of argument that Hammer died at the trailer, as you say. Yet that body was found at Studio One, was it not? The evil magistrate's costume, no less. Rather than claiming that I carried the body to Studio One, returned to the trailer, all in the space of 15 minutes? How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meaning and the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Jack Hammer had been pushed off the stairs to his death, and carried to the Studio One and placed inside his costume? Wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? She had another way. She used the van. What if she had another way to carry the body, other than with her own hands? For instance? Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do it in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body in the van. Mrs. Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio One. You used the studio van to do it. Recall your testimony? There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to the Studio One. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There's a van there, right? Let Sal drive me. Used the van to carry the body to Studio One. And before everyone else got there, we put the body into magistrate costume. Hold on, right? Don't forget it was Sal Manila who drove that van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manila was a conspirator? I don't know. Well, he also didn't have any steak bones. Of course he was. Of course Manila has to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume. There's no way Mrs. Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. Probably burned it in that small incinerator. Oh, Mrs. Vasquez, I'll continue. No need. You're smarter than I look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. I win? So what happens next? Don't question mark me? Don't you have anything to say? What do you like me to say? I lost something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean the Vasquez? So it was you? Killed Jack Hammer? I can say. Huh? Are you sure I did? Mr. Wright, we just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle, he proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. Like decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What? 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 Order! Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course it's as witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely she did it, but there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I'm here as a witness today. If you have no further question, I'll be leaving. What do I do now? Testify again, Vasquez. I would like you to testify again. Testify again? I want to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? Let me say what I said before, the truth, Mr. Wright. I already said all there is to say. What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions, the same answers, waste of time. Damn, I'm so far only to fail. It seems there's no further questions. I would like to end the cross-examination of witness Mrs. Vasquez. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. I see. Very well. Your Honor, I request that the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear the testimony again. Does it make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see that we have anything to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, you just see a little point in asking Mrs. Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes, indeed. Verily I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. Witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Nick, why did Edgeworth? Who knows? He probably realized she did it too. But wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that, he wants a guilty verdict on her. He was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when he found the body. The assistant was there too. Only Powers was absent. Immediately called the police. Then Powers showed up. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. Asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. No issues raised by the testimony. That's right, your cross-examination. Hey Nick, we are close, real close. Maybe acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. After finding the body. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when found the body. Press. What time was that? We were to meet at 5 for the rehearsal. What day was then? How exactly did you and Mr. Manuel arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you. It's harder. Where were the other employees when we got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well, you could have put Hammer in that costume with someone else, help. Oh, what did I just say? I don't just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into any costumes. You should try to listen to what people are saying, boy. Boy? Witness will continue her testimony. The system was there too. Only Powers was absent. Mr. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says, did no one go to call him? Remember? What? There was a dead body lying in front of us. You expect me to be calm? Certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. It's harder. Wait a second, wouldn't that be the other way around? You discovered a murdered body and one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? I have to agree with defense on this one. Oh, Mrs. Vasquez. Logically speaking, perhaps. No one there was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, you have his steel samurai costume. Powers doesn't really stand out. I left him on the bus when shooting at location. No one noticed that he was missing. Powers. Well, I suppose that explains that. Very well, Mrs. Vasquez. You may continue. Immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. What was everyone else doing at that time? No one said a thing. It was silent, completely silent. We stood there until Powers finally arrived at the scene. Sorry, I'm late. Then silence. Dead silence. Silence. Hey Nick. Why's everybody so quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. Cigarette lady, old bag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. Yes? Old bag, the security lady. Why did the security lady think Powers had done it? Said because she saw him going towards the studio. Steel samurai, press harder. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based on solely the security lady's word? Perhaps not. Seems to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all this after the fact. Photograph, meaning the one taken by the security camera. I'm known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. I don't think there's anything in there I can use. Has to be left out of the proceedings. Asked to be left out? Yes. Seems that everyone else was questioned. I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Hopefully the studio thinks otherwise. We were nice enough to understand that since we were in the meeting, there was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered it up for you. There must have been a lot riding on it. All those bigwigs at the meeting. Sure, they are professionals. They'll convince everyone they didn't require questioning. I went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. You don't have to do... wouldn't do to have them stolen. Oh, I guess not. It's harder. Wait a second. I thought you came to Studio One for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. It was a murder after all. I could think of rehearsal after that. Yeah, I guess. Very well, Mrs. Vasquez. Please continue. Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? Mrs. Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. You didn't see what that means? You would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio One. Yeah, that's what I thought. Order! Stretchmore, what you have just said, a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Are you thinking of a career change to defense? I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I'll stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Mrs. Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I believe Edgeworth is helping me. The prosecution is cahoots with the defense. What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I have perfectly good reason to believe there will be no rehearsal. Very well, the witness will change her testimony to reflect this reason. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do action scenes, so I left them behind. Yes. What did you know about the injury? How did I know? Well, he told me. Now the director? I'll find something to pack this on her here. Everything I've done till now have been wasted. If you Nick, go get him. What do you mean he was with Stahl and Oldbag, the security, when they found the body? If they were there 10 minutes before everyone else. I'm gonna present the van as the testimony here. Even if it's gonna fail, I wanna try it out. It's gonna work. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. Yes, I don't see any contradictory. Never mind. Fine. Oops, that didn't go so well. System was there too, only Powers was absent. And immediately called the police and Power showed up. Surely the old bag was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, he did it. Has to be left out of proceedings. Went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. No. He couldn't have gone back if this happened, right? Right. Let's try this. That's not gonna work. A witness statement is clearly faulty. Never mind. Two more chances. He wasn't injured. Hammer wasn't injured. Powers was injured. Which one will we show for that? Is the photo maybe? You knew that Hammer was injured? Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. If Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo, that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right. I must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. So it happened. Why did he tell you the wrong person? It's a fast guess. You saw Hammer limping. Actually, I didn't hear anything from Mr. Manella. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Ah, when was he doing this? Well, it would have to be after he put on the Steel Samurai costume. He went to Studio 2, where he was murdered. Exactly. That's a fast guess. You met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. Mr. Hammer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Order, order! I will have order! Witness, can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he would fall on hard times, but he was a star. Nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Yes, he would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? There is a reason. It is unclear to this court. If the defense have anything to say on the matter, in other words, can you prove she had a motive? Of course I can prove it. Okay, I have a proof, and I'll show it to you. Listen to the record evidence as to Baskin's motive to this murder. Not the autopsy, not the Powers photo, not the guide map. Not the spear, not the monkey head. Oh, this camera, no. Old photo. This is the only thing that makes sense. Present. This is my proof. This, the photo from before. This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Mrs. Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was the height of his fame. With D. Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial. It began on that day, 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall from stardom. It weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, D. Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bring us to the present day. Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly it was a constant source of shame for the X-Star. One moment, Mr. Wright. We're talking about motives here. We have only talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who had killed D. Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Mrs. Vasquez have? That's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reason to kill Hammer. It was a good source of income for me. I never got rid of a useful man. It's a policy of mine. Mr. Wright? Let's explain who Mrs. Vasquez's motive for murder. Reveal evidence. Penalty, she had no... Okay, allow me to present the court evidence proving Mrs. Vasquez didn't get a motive. Why did he pretend to be Powers? There was no other reason for him to pretend. He wanted to quit as Powers or something like that. Part of his photo, that's the motive. Or something. I don't know, let's try this. This is my proof. And this tells us why Mrs. Vasquez wanted to kill Mr. Hammer. All it proves is that the defense attorney has completely lost his marbles. Mr. Wright, I request that you find your marbles immediately. I'm afraid I have to penalize you for this waste of course time. You're so close. Think this one through, please. Mr. Wright, I'll ask you as can. Please explain to us why Mrs. Vasquez's motive for murder. She had no motive. It's not a murder, but an accident. Okay. I honestly don't know what motive she had. What is the camera? Off the glory? Try this, but I honestly have no idea. This is my proof, and this tells us why. Okay. But now I run out of points. Is it over? That's enough. This court has no real prolonged the trial. Uh-oh. Ministerial powers. Okay. Oh no. But now the accused will surrender to the court immediately. We hold. Okay. Can I retry? Yeah, I have to redo the trial. That's fine. Alright, let's explain the Mrs. Vasquez's motive for murder. She had no motive, Your Honor. What's that now? It was Mr. Hammer who was out for blood. All Mrs. Vasquez did was push him off the stairs in self-defense. What's that now? It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Mrs. Vasquez. What? What? Honor. Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the steel samurai costume. Jackhammer wore the costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Powers. And Jackhammer made his way to the trailer. For what purpose, you ask? Kill the Vasquez who had so cruelly taken advantage of him all those years. So you did it. Did do it, didn't you? Yes, I'm guilty. It was me. Don't call an ambulance. There's blood everywhere. We're too late. Ah, Mrs. Vasquez. What? What happened here? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Manuel. Mrs. Vasquez, please try to remain calm. Oh, no, how could this? It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... Oh, Manuel! Don't touch him. Mrs. Vasquez. No! Please don't die, please. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose again. Mr. Edgeworth, where's the Vasquez? The waiting lobby, Your Honor. Calm as collected as ever. I see. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Appears you have brought yet another miracle. I thank you, Your Honor. Maybe not, Your Honor. Powers was innocent. That he should be found so it's only natural, not a miracle. Yes, you're right. Very well, this court finds the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, not guilty. That is all. This court is adjourned. October 20, 1:12 p.m. District Court, Defendant, Lobby number 3. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. Just glad you're okay. But it's sad. You know that Mr. Hammer stole my costume. It's bad enough that he wanted to kill Mrs. Vasquez, but to think that he tried to frame me for the murder makes me sad. Tell me why, Mr. Wright. Tell me. Why did Mr. Hammer want to blame me? Show evidence? This is what I think. Mr. Hammer wanted you to put the blame on you because... of this. Because you were the Steel Samurai. Was the Steel Samurai? Mr. Hammer was a big star once, but he was reduced to acting as in the kids show, as the villain to boot. Kids loved the Steel Samurai, and so he hated you. I think I understand. He could have just told me. Could have changed places with him any time. You're missing the point. Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over. Am I? Oh, am I? Congratulations, WP. Oh, hehe. Thanks to you, I'll be able to don the Steel Samurai outfit once more. Can't wait to get back into the sweaty costume and... Is something wrong? No, of course not. Look, Edgeworth. Say something, right? I'm not good at small talk. Huh? What? That was too bad, Edgeworth. You don't waste any time gloating, do you? Oh, I really want to thank you. Vasquez would have gotten away if you hadn't stepped in. Oh, pleased to meet you. I'm Powers. Ah, Edgeworth. I'm a big fan of your work, Mr. Powers. Liar. Right. I must say, I hadn't expected to meet you again after all these years. Meet again? However, in retrospect, it would have been better if we had not met. Thanks to you, I'm saddled with unnecessary feelings. Unnecessary feelings? Unease and uncertainty. Aren't those kind of necessary? They only serve to get in my way. Listen to me, Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again. That's what I came here to tell you. Mr. Wright? Was that guy your friend? What? Friend? As if. They're rivals, right, Nick? Now we are, I guess. Huh? Why do I get the feeling I'm missing something? Come on, Nick, tell me. What's the deal with you and 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐸? So the curtain closed on another trial. It was quite a stir by revealing the accident from 5 years ago. The talk of the town. Thankfully, Global Studios rethought its programming change. They went back to making kids shows again. Pink Princess. Nick, this is it. The new show at the starts today. You're going to watch it with me, right? I'll admit I was kind of surprised. I didn't think they would seriously go through with it. You have to buy trading cards too, okay? You have to trade with Cody and that assistant. Fine, I'll do it. Isn't it great that WP gets to play the lead again? I wonder if they'll show his real face this time. I don't know. I don't think the world is ready to the real willpowers. The end. Okay, that was episode 3. Now we have the next episode. Turnabout goodbyes. Let's save the progress. It's been what, 15 years? About that, yes. 15 years is a long time. Wait. You can't imagine how much I've suffered. You've suffered? But now, a perfect opportunity has presented itself. At last, I shall have my revenge. Merry Christmas. Well, we know it's a guy. 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐸? What? Number 25, 10:08 AM. Wright & Co. offices. Well. Hey, Nick. Do you know if there are any good waterfalls around here? Suppose? Dare I ask why? Huh, Nick. Isn't it obvious? You need a waterfall to stand under, preferably a freezing one. Oh, is that part of your spirit medium training? Of course, except I've been slacking of lately. I need to brave the elements and be forced anew under the rushing spring waters. Okay. I don't know about any falls per se, but Gourd Lake is pretty close. Oh, darn. Sorry, but them's the breaks. Why don't you just take a cold shower or something? Good idea. So much for rushing spring waters. Next in the news, a large unidentified animal was sighted at Gourd Lake. Town is buzzing with excitement. Locals are calling it Gordy, a tip to the head of the Nessie, the Loch Ness monster. Though it's a namesake, Nessie proved to be a hoax. Locals are confident their Gordy is the real deal. Boring. Pretty sure real news for a change. Water pressure's kind of low in that shower. Want more pressure, huh? Why don't you go down the fire department and have them spray you with the hose? Good idea, Nick. Apparently, if Payblood is no way to infect sarcasm. We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. Strange occurrences continue at Gourd Lake. This time, it's a murder. Gourd Lake again? The body of a man was found on the lake early this morning. The suspect was apprehended. Sources inside the police department revealed. The suspect's name is Miles 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐸, age 24. 𝐒𝐻𝐻𝐸 was an up-and-coming prosecutor known for his skill and connections. His guaranteed a long and rewarding career. Is he throwing it all away? Huh? Edgeworth? What's going on? Edgeworth would never do something like... Yipes! Maya! Arman yelled at me when I called him. There are bigger things to worry about than that. They arrested Edgeworth. What? You mean the prosecutor? Yeah, he's a suspect in a murder. What? When? Where? Whom? Why? How? I don't know. Let's go find out, Nick. Okay. December, okay. You know, Nick, we've all been here one time or another, haven't we? I guess it comes with the territory. I'm not sure it's something we should mention to too many people. Ah. Oh. Hey, Edgeworth, come back. What are you doing here? Nick, I don't think he's in a very good mood. Well, he's in detention. We're in a good mood when you were here. You've come to laugh at the fallen attorney? Then laugh. Laugh! Well, why aren't you laughing? Nick, you really laughing? It's a trick. Laugh and he'll get mad, or burst into tears. Edgeworth, we don't have so much free time we can spend in coming down here to laugh at you. Yes, you do. Actually, he's right. I hoped you two wouldn't come. I didn't want you to see me. Not like this. I didn't want to see you like this either, believe me. Look, what happened? Edgeworth, tell me what happened. Why should I? What are you going to do about it? Yeah, I'm going to help you, that's what. Help me? You? Don't be ridiculous. Alright? You're a novice. You've only been in 3 trials. Hey, sure, you got lucky and won all 3. Your luck's bound to rust it someday. You need real skill, right? Experience. Nick, he's insulting you. Nick! Why am I always the one who has to get angry? Gorlake. The murder took place at Gorlake, correct? Yes. Late last night. The lake is a long way away from your offices. The courthouse. Why were you down there? You don't need to tell you. Mr. Edgeworth? You didn't really. Gordy? Huh? I went to see Gordy. Gordy? What's that? I'll tell you later. I want Edgeworth to talk to us. We have nothing here right now. Okay, let's go to the entrance. December 25, Cord Lake Park entrance. This is where it happened? Yeah, Cord Lake is in the middle of the park. You can see some police working around here. Questioning people, probably. Hey, is that Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐬 over there? Well, pal, it's enough of us here. Anyone found anything? Sorry, sir, nothing. Idiot, the trial's tomorrow. Need clues on the double. But, sir, there weren't any clues. That's why we arrested the attorney, Mr. Edgeworth. It's clear, sir. He's the one who... Shut up. Just you try saying that again. I'll make you sore if you do. So just get out of my face, pal. Yes, sir. Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐬 is kind of scary today. Recruits, peh. Ah, me. Hey, you're that hairy guy, Harry Butts. Right, Phoenix Wright. Will you ever learn my name? Just what are you doing here, pal? Investigating? Well, yes, I suppose. Well, I'm here to help. Ask me anything you want. Bring it. Seems different than usual. I wonder what's up. Edgeworth hasn't actually asked us to defend him yet. Huh? Oh, you don't say. What happened? Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐬? Do you know what happened here? Huh? You didn't know, pal? Oh. Oh, okay, Mr. Head in the fluffy pink clouds lawyer. In the... Huh? Never mind, I'll tell you. It happened last night, about 15 minutes after midnight. There was a boat out on Gourd Lake. In that boat, there were 2 men. One of those men shot the other man with a pistol. And the shooter was Mr. Edgeworth, who arrived on the scene and arrested him. How did he get here so fast? Well, there was a witness. When the report came in, we raced to the lake. Witness? You don't think Mr. Edgeworth is a murderer, do you? Absolutely not, it's impossible. I don't care if there's a witness either. I don't believe a lick of it. Right. Who cares what the witness says? I care. I really believe in him, don't you, detective? Of course I do. But the police are pretty sure he's the killer. Nobody's even really taking this investigation that seriously. Oh no. After all the help Mr. Edgeworth has been to us, hard to imagine that no one's standing up to take his side. Well, at least you are, detective. At least you are. Defense request. Do you know who will be Mr. Edward's defense attorney in tomorrow's trial? He hasn't got one yet. What? Well, it's tomorrow, isn't it? Well, I don't know the whole story. Apparently, no one he's been talking to will take his case. Why not? Mr. Edgeworth won't tell me. When you guys showed up, I figured he would ask you to defend him. Unfortunately not. Well, pal, then you go to do. How about Mr. Edward? Prove that the badge you wear isn't just some fancy piece of metal. Look to me, pal. Show me your attorney. Witness. Who's this witness? Sorry, pal. It's confidential. Anyway, the witness saw everything, apparently. I'm sure they'll turn up at the trial tomorrow. Is there only that one witness? It was pretty cold out there on the lake last night. And it was Christmas Eve after all. You we're being thorough. You never know when you're going to turn another witness. That's why we are here today, checking things out. So far, we're coming empty. Oh, it's Christmas today. Forgot it. What are you getting me for Christmas, Nick? What is Santa? Okay, let's move back to the detention center. Talk to him. I can, so move back. Perhaps we can examine. Santa Gordon Lake National Park. This place is full of families, picnicking on the weekend. But no waterfall. Many picnickers come here for spiritual training, Maya. Winter's chill from the bare leaf trees today. What is it about winter that turns people into poets? I don't know, but those are starting to feel numb. Yes, my poetry is the effect of people. Anything else? There's really nothing. Back to the offices. Talk to her. Any ideas? Good ideas? Not really. I don't know what I was thinking when I'm standing underneath a waterfall. What do you mean? Let's investigate. We should talk to Mr. Edgeworth and check out the crime scene. Right, we need more information. Save aimlessness and confusion for later. Let's move to the detention center. I don't want to talk to us, but would we present him with the attorney's badge? Attorney's badge? Edgeworth? Let me defend you. Good one, right? But I'm not that hard up. Not yet. What do you mean by that? Me? Just a wet behind the ears lawyer with only 3 trials under his belt? Never! What? My case is near hopeless, right? Every defense attorney I've talked to has turned me down. What? But they were afraid they would lose. To me that it might be my fault that they lack confidence. After all, I did get every single one of their clients declared guilty. I don't believe it. Regardless, I don't want you involved in this. In particular, I cannot ask to do this. It's the same. Maybe I can talk to him now though. Talk. Edgeworth? It's really hard for me to ask. You didn't do it, right? Right? Think what you will. I have only one request. Huh? Stay out of this case. Why? Nick is trying to help you. No, I know that. But I don't want your help, okay? Why not? Look, just go away and leave me alone. Nick, Strangeworth did it. Yeah, let's go investigate elsewhere. But Nick... lake entrance. Maybe I can talk to him? Answer request. There's more I can learn. Is it true? I want to take Edgeworth's case. Yeah, he's a bit of a celebrity. If you defended him and lost, your reputation be sure to suffer. What's more, the case against him is, well, it's pretty solid. I suppose it would be if they have a witness. Hey, pal, don't tell me you're going to turn your back on him too. Remember the Steel Samurai case? Mr. Edgeworth helped you get your client declared innocent. I know. I wanted Edgeworth, I tried. He really doesn't want us to represent him. Especially not us, he said. What? Well, that doesn't make any sense, pal. You should have heard him talking about you after the trial. He kept saying, right, over and over. Not sure that's a good sign. Neither am I. Why would he wouldn't he want your help? I don't get it. The voucher, sir. What? Want something? No, sir, not yet. There was a call from the precinct. They want to hold an investigation briefing. A briefing? Right, I'm off. Oh, sorry, pal. I guess you heard. I gotta go. Any last thing you wanna ask before you head back? The autopsy report? Yes, do you have any information on the victim? Sorry, I haven't worked up the autopsy report yet. Still waiting for myself. Actually, if you get the time, drop by the precinct. We can talk more there, pal. Coming back, detective? Probably not, pal. What should we do if we have something to talk about you about? Alright, here, I'll show you how to get to the precinct. Come down and see me anytime. Actions the police station received from Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐚𝐥𝐬. Oh hey, Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐚𝐥𝐬. What? I would like to take a look around the park. Can you walk around? Yeah, no problem, pal. You got my permission. You know, Nick, I think there's something to be said for talking to people when they are busy. Yeah, they don't have time to think about giving you information. Right, now let's get investigating. Well, we can go to the precinct now, I guess. But let's go to the public beach first. Number 25, Guard Lake Public Beach. Wow, sirs, this is Guard Lake? I'm not sure if it warrants of vouchers though. Probably not. Hey, look at that snack stand. Samurai dogs? I want a samurai dog, please. But they are great. With a name like Samurai Dog, how could they not be? They're a little behind the times though. Kids are all into pink princess now. I mean, like, you know? Nope. Salmon. Oh, someone left poppers here, you know? Full strength. And it goes pop. Yeah, I know the ones. You see them a lot around the New Year's. Hey Nick, they might be a clue. Take them. Come on, admit it. You just want to pop them, right? Was it that obvious? Poppers. Take them. I suppose it wouldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt. Oh, where did they go? Into my pocket. Well, just a clue now. The fact that I have it is good. I almost didn't see the signpost. Left both dogs, right exit. Trash can is empty. At least the place is well maintained. A little lineup of plastic benches. I guess the idea is that you buy the dog and eat it here. doubt anyone would sit here and eat on the day like this. But maybe Maya, if she had a samurai dog? Wow, Gourd Lake is really big. Yeah, say Nick, is it called Gourd Lake? Oh, well, a long time ago they used to grow gourds here. Whoa, no way! Sure, it was because the lake looked like a gourd when viewed from above. Oh, like an hourglass shape. Well, it is shaped like a gourd, actually. But that's just a coincidence. Oh, okay. Hot dog stand, it's closed. Christmas fringe looks a little bit half-baked. Banner streets, samurai dogs. Somebody needs to redecorate. Guess that's it for this place. Can I move? Can I go to the boat rental shop, I guess? December 25, boat rental shop. Nick, what is this place? Boat rental shop. Closed for Christmas, it seems. Guess a murder taking place on one of those boats won't be good for business either. Boats? I've never ridden on a boat. Really? Well, how about we go out on one when the trial is finished? Hey, good idea. You bet. Oh, I don't want to move. I want to examine. There are more forests off that way. I doubt I'd find any helpful clues in there. Small boat rental shop. Doesn't look like anyone is around. They're probably closed because of Christmas. There are some boats floating at the dock. Was one of those boats used in the murder? I wonder? Nick, huh? I changed my mind. I don't really want to go for a boat ride. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, right? Okay, let's go to the forest. Number 25, Gourd Lake Woods. I like it here. Nick. Look, someone's camping. Good gods, camping at the scene of a murder. Hey Nick, if they were camping here last night, they might know something about the murder. True. Good call, Maya. Let's go talk to them. Sign says no camping. Fun place to pick to pitch your tent. Wait, what if the sign said no setting tents on fire? I don't think they have signs like that. Oh. Hey Nick. What? Don't tell me you're hungry again. No, I was just wondering, why are camping pots and pans made out of aluminum? They didn't talk about that in any of the law books. But there's no law saying they have to be made out of aluminum then. Not having this conversation. There's food and some magazines on the sheet. It's pretty tough skin to camp in this cold. This camera has a mic and some sort of attachment. It must take pictures when triggered with a noise. Wow, cool. Let's try it out. Hi, I'm Nick. Maybe I'm not saying it loud enough. Hey, I'm Nick. Nick! Please stop that. Maybe it's broken? Don't kick it. Maybe it's set to respond to voices. Well, what that then? These things? Party poppers? Well, it responded. Yeah! Hey you! Get your hands off of that! Hey! What in the Sam Hill? Look at you down now. There goes a whole roll of film. What? Sorry. Story's nice, but I don't pay my bills. You all know how much a roll of that film costs? I'll pay you back. We're already talking about setting up a party popper in a place like this. Well... What? Don't try to play stupid with me just because you think I'm some country bumpkin. Yeah, I know how y'all Yanks think. See, those southern folks talk with that exaggerated drawl. Why, they must be dumb. Well, at least let me tell you, just because I might be dumb, don't mean we all are. Nick, help. Who are you now? Her chaperone? Yeah, no, rather, you're sort of friends? Figure out what you all are gonna say and say it for bejesus's sake. God, I'd rather sit through one of those papa's draws than listen to you stutter all day. Oh boy. I guess we should pay her for the film. Good shit. Yes, ma'am. Second thought, I'll pay later. I'm really sorry. Let's talk to her. What happened? What? You see I'm changing the film on my camera here? Come on, I'm not naming any names. Someone used up the whole roll. Sorry. Didn't work. I wonder if I have anything to show her that would get her attention. Name? What? Let's show her this. This is my badge. Oh, my badge is supposed to be all shiny and impressive. You cop or something? I'm a lawyer. What? You ain't gonna try and pull one of them lawsuits on me over that film now. So I'll have you all know I'm a fighter and I rational meaner look things on you. Oh, that's not it at all. We're here investigating a murder that took place here on the lake. Murder? Sounds cool. Why didn't you all say that in the first place? Go ahead, ask me anything you like. Finally, some cooperation. You too. You all come out of hiding now. I won't bite hard. Have to think of it. Where did Maya get to? Sorry, I was feeling a little overwhelmed. The culture gap and all. Never mind, honey. I can talk ya for ya if it pleases you. Thanks. I think I'll be okay. Great then. I'm Loda. Loda Hart. But you all can call me Loda. I'm here photographing meteor showers for a research project. Mighty pleased to meet ya. Okay, let's talk to her what happened. Oh yeah, when I was that murder anyway. Haven't seen much television lately. It happened late in the night on the Christmas Eve. So, Christmas Eve? The man on the boat was shot. Did you see anything? Well, let me see. What would you say? I think I might have seen one. Not sure though. What did I remember? I've been watching this here lake for a good 3 days now. I've seen enough boats to choke a mule. Kinda hard to remember. Wish I see it when. Loda. So what is it that you do, Loda? Huh? Me? Haha, you all don't really want to know that, do you? Actually, I'm a research student, country U. Right in the heart of the heartland. Wow, neat. Nick is a research student at a university, country U. So I hear. So when did you come up here? Let me see. I guess it was about 3 days ago. Sorry, photographing. Didn't I tell you already? Meteors, yep, meteor showers. Falling stars? That's quite a camera you have there. You all better know it. It's German made, a genuine silicon. Is that where they make knives? What's the device you have stuck to the camera? Nice. The camera went off all by itself while I fired my party pooper. For that mic triggers the shutter whenever it detects sentient sounds. Programmed to pick up loud noises right now. Programmable camera. Neat. Okay. Did it trigger when it hears the gunshot? Present that. Loda, yeah? Your camera triggers on loud explosion noises? Yep. Actually, the victim in the case we're researching, he was shot with a pistol. Pistol? Right. Now, wouldn't a gunshot make a similar noise to our party popper? I guess it would. Camera didn't get a picture of the murder, did it? Hey, you are pretty bright. Huh? I see what you're saying. Tell you what, I'll have a look at this. Look to see at my film. There have been a photo taken late last night. Checked them once. I don't remember if there was anything on them though. What if I got summoned something? Could be witness to a genuine murder. Yeehaw! Go check that film. We'll come back now. You hear? She went inside the SUV. We should come back later. Okay. So I guess we can move back to the entrance. And if I move back, no, it's not gonna work. Let's go to the beach. Let's go to the entrance. Let's go to the apartment. December 25, police department. I guess Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐽 is still at that meeting. Hey, thanks for coming down, Paul. Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐽. We just finished the meeting, for better or for worse. I get the feeling we're in some bad news. Talk to him. Victim. Do you know anything about the victim yet? Oh no. We can ID him. Has Mr. Edgeworth said anything? Not a word. Meeting? So how did the meeting go? I'll tell you, pal. You're a lawyer. You know, I don't know what to believe anymore. Sure, Mr. Edgeworth's human like you or me. Still, I get the feeling that if he had done something wrong, he wouldn't go hiding it. It's just the kind of guy he is. How can anyone else see that? Do you think that Mr. Edgeworth did it? Well, the trial starting tomorrow is scheduled. Let's see. Hey, in the end, you did tell us about the meeting. Don't go telling anyone else, pal. Yes, sir. And do me a favor. Stand by Mr. Edgeworth. He needs help, and you're the ones to help him. I'm sure he's got some reason why he won't talk to us. Thanks, Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐽𝐽. Sting Edgeworth. Detective 𝐒𝐤𝐽𝐽, how can you trust Mr. Edgeworth so much? I think that was obvious. We got a strong working relation, us two. Trust each other, and that's how it works. Working relationship? See, Mr. Edgeworth always gets his defendant declared guilty every time. His methods might be a little extreme at times. There's a reason. Trust our investigation, see? He trusts us to get the right man. That's why I work extra hard, pal. Put to earn that trust he places in us. I see. Mr. Edgeworth is a man you can trust. And you have my word on that. Autopsy report. I was wondering, did you ever get that autopsy report? Oh, that? Yeah, I made a copy for you. Sometime on the 24th, 25th, was one bullet shot to the heart. Thank you. Heck? Huh? Can you show me that photo of the victim? That face. Well, you know? I don't know. I just have this feeling that I met him somewhere a long time ago. Okay. Can I present him the camera? Perhaps we can go back to the detention center? Nope. Perhaps we can go back to the lake. Number 25, lake. Hey yo! What up? Wait a second, we got bingo! Bingo? The automatic camera took 2 pictures last night. Hey! This is them. Take a look. Wait. Do you see? He's shooting her with that pistol. Looks like that, yes. You can't really tell who is shooting. Yeah, well, there was enough folk out there last night to struggle and bullfrog. You know, seeing these people reminded of something. So the murder happened. I'm a witness. What? Are you serious? Of course. You forget. Never mind. You reckon I should tell the cops? I reckon so. What's that? Now don't you all go try and mock my accent. I'm a sensitive lady. Okay, so I'm off to talk to the cops. I can't have this photo. Later. Oh, wait, hold on. You'll see I'm kinda busy. Oh, steady so. Do it, please. Let's try, honey. I wasn't born yesterday. I'm a witness. That means I'm on the side of justice. That means the cops. Sooner eat the south side of northbound skunk than I tell you. Loda? Don't let it get to your skivvies a bunch. Friends today, enemies tomorrow. Was that the other way around? No matter, I'm gone. Hey, maybe they'll let me do some testifying. Darn. She left. Well, that's one more witness. What do we do now with Nick? Well, she saw something. There's not much we can do about it. Question is, what exactly did she see? I guess we'll find out in the trial tomorrow. Photo added to the court records. Examine the car. We've seen better days. Okay. Nothing out. Expensive looking camera faces next to this large microphone. Looks like a computer is attached to the camera. I don't see any computer. Okay, maybe we can go back, talk to Edgeworth now. Looks like the police have given up their interviewing. Hey! It's Santa. Oh, Nick. I think Santa's mad at you. Long time no see, Nick. Nick? You know Santa? Oh, Nick and Saint Nicholas? Hey, I see the connection. You're ridiculous. Dude, it's me. Larry? What are you doing here? Isn't it obvious? I'm working my day job. I sell samurai dogs. Want one? I got money for dates, you know? My girl 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐜𝐬 serves the best. 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐜𝐬? Not another model, I hope. 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐜𝐬's a fine woman, Nick. It was her idea that I wear this costume. It was all, you go, girlfriend, you know? Bought this costume for me. That's great, Larry. Wow, a Santa costume? It must be really nice. Oh, cute. Like, who's she? She's not your... My what? Oh, she's not. Miss partner, Maya Fey. The little sister. Sister? Wow, Nick, must be tough. Working 9 to 5, having to take care of a little sister. No, I'm not Nick's sister. My older sister's little sister. Oh, that's great. Don't worry, Maya, he's not listening. Let's talk to him. What happened? Hey, Larry. There was a murder here last night. Since you work here, have you heard anything? Like, you're wasting your time. Last night was Christmas Eve. It was with 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐜𝐬, obviously. You wouldn't have been standing out here in the cold. Oof. What you just said caught him off guard, Maya. No, it's just... 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐜𝐬's not in town right now. She's in Hawaii on a photo shoot. Oh, I knew it. Well, anyway, there was a murder here on the lake. The trial's tomorrow. Neat. Defendant's Edgeworth. Miles Edgeworth. Nick? I would Larry know Edgeworth. Oh, Nick? You don't mean Dad Miles Edgeworth. Old Edgy? Yeah, he's murder suspect. Whoa, murder? Huh? You know Mr. Edgeworth, Larry? Yeah, of course. Edgy was in the same class as us in the grade school. What? Samurai dogs. Tell me about the dogs. Oh, you mean the samurai dogs? Why are they samurai dogs? I mean, they kind of look gourd-shaped. Well, originally they were called gourd dogs. You know, like guard dogs? Ouch. Samurai thinks, think was 𝐒𝐤𝐞𝐜𝐬's idea. Oh, she's my woman, you know? So change the name and you go girlfriend. Made me that better. And the kids can get enough of those samurai dogs. Nothing about that just seems wrong. Oh, and guess what? We're getting a ton of customers here at the lake with the big news. Big news? Yeah, Gordy. Gordy? Oh, Mr. Edgeworth was your classmate, Larry. Yeah, Nick. Him and I used to hang out all the time. Wow, I never knew. Don't get me wrong. He's always been kind of a stick in the mud. Studying all the time, trying to be like father. Like his father? Yeah, Edgy's pop was a famous defense lawyer back in the day. Wow. Wait, is he a defense lawyer? Yeah. Wait a second. Mr. Edgeworth is a prosecuting attorney. What? Edge's got a proposing on his knee? No, he's a prosecuting attorney. It's like the total opposite of a defense lawyer. Huh, go figure. He always used to talk about defending the weak who were unable to defend themselves. And he used to go on and on about men's duty to society and all that. What a bore. I wonder what changed his mind though. Do you know Nick? Nick? Gordy. What's Gordy? What? I mean, you don't know? Here, in this fair lake. A giant, mysterious monster. Gordy. Monster? Yeah. Check it out. This is an article from yesterday's newspaper. Here's the photo. Wow, it's really real. A monster, a real monster. Yeah, it's probably just a log or something, right? Hey, there's a quote from the person who took the photo. What's this? The camera's automatic. I got into the frame. Heard a loud bang. An explosion. Followed by the sound of something slipping into the water. Wish I could have seen it. Why'd there be a sound like an explosion? Right? Could borrow this article from you. Sure, no problem. Literally $1 million. 1 million? Go up, Larry. Already actually added to the court record. Okay, let's move the Bigfoot. Command the beach. Entrance. Engine center. Mind. Where's department? Not a gumshoe inside. We're looking for Detective Gumshoe. It's the questioning room. Apparently an important witness turned up. I'll be in there in a while. A lot of heart. It has to be. Uh-oh. Is that the police department's mascot? It's the Blue Badger. It was my idea. I made it. My mascot. I see. How nice. We're gonna assign a mascot. The Criminal Affairs Department. It's the last thing I do. Good luck. Let me move back to the detention center. Back to the apartment. This. Perhaps the beach. Perhaps the shop. Perhaps the beach. Perhaps back to the woods. Back to the beach. Perhaps offices. What is it? Oh, nothing. Something been bothering me. Could you show me that autopsy report once more? Hey, I remember now. This guy. He's the lawyer that was at the office Mia worked at. I met him once when I went there to hang out with Sis. Office? Wait. You mean Grossberg's office? Right, that guy. That's the last name I expected to come up. Maybe I should go talk to him. Old time's sake. Number 25. An old familiar clearing of the road. Aha, you're Mia something, are you not? Sure, understudy, yes. Phoenix Wright. Aha, and you are Mia something too, are you not? Little sister, yes. You've grown. You want to look a lot like your sister, you know? Takes me back. Ah, the days of my youth. Like the scent of fresh lemon. See? Mr. Grossberg, sir? Ah, yes, I beg your pardon. Of course you came here to discuss something. What is it then? Something the matter? Oh, what happened? There was a murder last night. A murder? You haven't heard? I just got up, you see. Miles Edgeworth shot someone with a pistol. Edgeworth? What? Who did he shoot? Well, the identity of the victim is still unknown. This is the terrible news indeed. His Guess he hadn't heard anything. The painting. Mr. Grossberg, whatever happened to that painting? Yes. I don't think it shall be over coming back home out of his office. I didn't exactly claim it as stolen. I suppose it's my just desserts. All bitter desserts. I cannot present him with the autopsy. Strange. I always thought I've seen this man somewhere before. Ah, do you remember? He was a lawyer here in my office. That's Hammond. Robert Hammond. Hammond? You say this is the man Miss Miles Edgeworth shop? Yes. Big photo. This is the moment of the crime took place, eh? I can't really say for sure that's Edgeworth. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Not sure at all. My apologies. I'm sure I can help with that. But this camera on the lake takes a photo whenever it hears an explosion sound? That's what she said. I just happened to be set on the beach, pointing to the lake. Yes, she said it was to photograph shooting stars. Shooting stars, explosions. What's the connection? You're suspicious of this witness of yours. Yeah, because why would you have a mic for meteorite? It don't make a noise. If she said fireworks, then maybe, but that's not the case. Robert Hammond. Who's this Robert Hammond guy anyway? Mr. Hammond, he was the defense attorney in that case. That case? Yes, the DL6 incident. DL6, why does that sound familiar? Perhaps you remember? I'm sure someone mentioned it during the trial for me as murder. It was the incident where the police were at the loss. They used a spirit medium. Wait, you don't mean... Was that medium my mother? Yes, my dear. Spirit medium Misty Faye, your mother, contacted the spirit of the victim. But the case was a loss. A conviction was made. Yes, it happened 15 years ago. Very strange case indeed. You never caught the criminal, right? Correct. Misty Faye used her powers to talk to the spirit of the late victim. Her testimony led to charges being laid against the one man. Mr. Hammond won the case and the suspect was declared innocent. The police blamed my mother, calling her a fraud. You're the one who helped her out then, right, Mr. Grossberg? Yes, quite. Thank you. No, please. Don't mention it. L6. Never doubt I'll hear that name again. But wait, what does that case have to do with Mr. Edgeworth? It's everything to do with Mr. Edgeworth, my dear. The victim in the DL6 incident was none other than his father, Gregory Edgeworth. What? His father? If you want to know more, you should ask him yourself. Show him this. I'm sure he'll talk to you. Wait. This is a photograph of my mother. This photo added to the corrected. Okay. Now we can go back to the detention center. What's this? I was hoping you'd have gotten my message the first time. Edgeworth, what about your defense? No concern of yours. This hasn't found anyone yet. Percent. Edgeworth, it's only been a matter of hours since you last visited. Yet you've made incredible progress in your investigation. I'll admit it, I'm impressed, right? You're always single-minded in your work, too. Once you start on something, you always see it through, don't you? About the DL6 incident. Right, DL6. I don't want you to find out about it. That is why I refused your offer to defend me. I'm sorry if it sounded like I thought you were in for the job. I just wanted to keep you away from DL6. So, do you still think it would have been better for me to stay away? I don't know. But I see no point in hiding anything from you now. Very well, ask whatever you like, and I will answer to the best of my abilities. Okay, talk about DL6. The DL6 incident, that's where my father died. Right before my eyes. He was shot and killed, and I saw it all. My memories from the time are foggy. I suppose it's a self-defense mechanism. In any case, the suspect was arrested, a man. Pretty clear who was the only one who could have killed my father. The third medium they used to talk to my late father said the same thing. It was an attorney by the name of Robert Hammond. There's the suspect's name. And Hammond was the victim in the 𝐒𝐸𝐞𝐜𝐬 murder? Correct. The third medium. That was my mom. What? I mean, you are... Strange. I thought that terrible incident was about to end, and now this. About the end? Yes, this incident happened 15 years ago. 15 years ago on December 28th. December 28th? Statute of limitation of this case runs out in 3 days. What? Nick? What does that mean? The statute of limitations ran out legally. The case never happened. 3 days from now, DL6 will be closed forever. Suspect. What happened to the suspect? The one who got off innocent? I don't know. He disappeared from public view. Nobody knows where to. If he's still alive, he'll be about 50 years old now. I can understand why he would go into hiding. It'd be hard to live a normal life after being a murder suspect in such a big case. Your father. So was your father a lawyer? He was. Gregory Edgeworth. He was quite famous at the time, apparently. So you were sort of trying to follow him in his footsteps. I'd rather not talk about it. It's not him with the camera? Okay. Sorry, I can't think of anything I want to say about that. Who would have thought there would be a photo? Or did he shoot him? What do you think, Wright? I don't think you're the kind to point the gun at anyone, no. You didn't shoot him? I didn't. It wasn't me. Right. It pains me to ask you this now. No, you want us to defend you? Yes. Will you? Of course we will. Who could have guessed that they would come? Not me. This is my chance to finally pay back. Pay him back? Me back? What? I don't remember ever doing anything for you. Never mind. I guess you don't really need to know. Huh? A letter of request. Please give it to Detective 𝐒𝐞𝐜𝐬. Okay. Well, I guess we should... What's that? Okay, it's a big one. Oh, it's calming down. Oof, that was scary. Where's Edgeworth? Huh? There. He's on the floor in the bowl, shivering. Guess he doesn't do so well with earthquakes. I've heard of running, but curling up in a bowl? I guess we're done. Mr. Edgeworth doesn't seem like he's going to stand up anytime soon. Let's go, Nick. Right. I have to give Edgeworth's letter of request to Detective 𝐒𝐬𝐬. What's going on here? Hey, what's wrong, detective? Well, lady comes in here just a while ago. Says she came to talk to you all after hearing what Mr. Wright had to say. What's this all about, pal? What a heart. Why are you going around finding more witnesses? Want to give Mr. Edgeworth the death sentence, pal? No, not at all. I mean, she did see something. Nothing you can do about that. You can go around covering up evidence. You're trying to say something about the way I do my job? No, sir. Send him with what I got. Hey, you did it, pal. Glad I waited till the last minute to file those papers. I'll rip them up and start new ones for you. Thanks, detective. Well, see you in court tomorrow then. Good luck, pal. You guys feel that earthquake a little while back? I was worried. Worried? We're fine. I've lived out of here my whole life. Pretty used to them by now. Oh, I wasn't worried about you two. I was worried about the Mr. Edgeworth. I did seem overreact a little, now that you mention it. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. It was a pretty big quake. I'm going to go check on him. Get to go eat and get your rest for tomorrow's trial. Later. Wonder what they did with Mr. Edgeworth and earthquakes. Wonder. He was never that scared of them when he was in school. Okay, and again, I never really got to know him. I transferred to another school after that. Wonder what happened to Edgeworth. Alright. I really hope you enjoyed. That's a really cool start for the next episode. Seems really cool. Yeah, thank you for watching, and tomorrow we can continue with another part of this case. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys